Rotted review of the day, and today is December 14th as we're counting down our I just spit everywhere. I gleeked. Hello and welcome to Rotted review of the day, and today it is December 14th as we're counting down our advent calendar towards Christmas. And today I'm taking a look at the 1982 movie, I don't remember the title. Hello and welcome to Rotted review of the day, and today it is December 14th as we're counting down to the 25th in our advent calendar of Christmas horror movies. And today I'm taking a look at the 1983 movie, Bloodbeat, written and directed by a person whose name I'm going to butcher in my pronunciation, and I apologize in advance for it, but it is Fabrice Zafratos. This was a wild ride. This is a cult classic. I had never seen it before. I've heard of it, and I always wanted to watch it, but I purposefully put it off so that I can add it to one of these advent calendar reviews. And wow, this was unique. I honestly think that Fabrice should have won the Best Original Screenplay Academy Award for this, and it should have been kind of a twin-paired acceptance between Fabrice and whatever drugs he was on when he came up with this concept. It was really, really out there. But at the same time, it was also very grounded, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but I think that honestly that grounding is one of the things that saved the movie. This is an example of a movie that is so bad that it's good. I'm not going to say that this is a good movie. I know that a lot of people take cult classics and they try to, put them on too high of a pedestal. And if we're being totally honest about it, and I try to be totally honest in my reviews and totally objective in my reviews, and avoid the pitfall of cult classics and fanboying over them, I have to say that objectively this was not a good movie, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to riff on. It was a movie that was so bad that it was good. So basically what this movie follows is we have a couple that live out in the woods, and around Christmas time, the mother's children come to visit. And, the couple, they aren't married. It kind of becomes a point of contention between them. But regardless, they kind of coexist in a very, he is in a very stepfatherly role to the children. They are grown up, and everybody seems like it's just a very cohesive family unit, even though there isn't any kind of legally binding or, documents or wedding rings attached to anything. And in this homecoming during Christmas season, one of their children brings a date with him. It's his girlfriend that he's been seeing for 7 or 8 months now, and she gets a weird vibe from the mother of the family. And things start going kind of very peculiar in its own way as people she basically becomes, I don't even know how to put this, honestly. It honestly doesn't do a great job of explaining this. The plot was a bit elusive in this regard. So, if I say possessed, I don't know if that's an accurate statement. It really kind of feels like it is, but it isn't. Regardless, there is the inhabitation and external elements that bring to life the spirit of a samurai warrior that then starts killing people using the channeling of this girlfriend that gets brought to this family. And subsequently, with every kill that this samurai does out in the world, it simultaneously gives her an orgasm. Yeah. It's as weird as it sounds, but like I said, it's grounded in reality, and that is the thing that saves this movie, because honestly, that's one thing that I've criticized movies for in the past, is to have it be so weird that it defies any kind of logic, and it basically wanders into the path of style over substance. And this movie actually manages to avoid that by having such a weird concept, but delivered in a way that is grounded in reality. This is out in the woods, but for the most part, it's just normal life. That actually reminds me of my life living here. And I mean, this entire setting, this may be a little bit foreign to city-born folk. I'm a city-born folk, but regardless, I've been here for over a decade now. And, pick any direction and drive for 2 minutes, and that's what this looks like. So for me, it felt very grounded in reality. And then we had, in that grounding of reality, the odd circumstances, the weird concepts, the odd samurai orgasm plot unfolding. But because it was set in a real world kind of grounded reality, it always kept no matter how choppy this voyage got, we always had our North Star, and it never ventured into weird for the sake of weird and style over substance in movies that I have criticized in the past, like In Fabric. This just managed to be, I would say, wacky. And, it's not, like I said, it's not good. I'm going to go and throw up all the scores here. As always, 4 different categories, each one worth up to 25 points for a total possible score of 100 points. And I struggled with this one a little bit. I honestly did, just because of the plot. The plot really was one that I was trying to wrangle, because as much fun as I had watching this, and as interesting as the concept was, I have to admit that it wasn't fleshed out very well. The characters were not written well. They weren't developed well. They had no real arcs to them in any real meaningful way. And whatever was going on with the plot, as far as it being wacky, absolutely it was. But was it really well explained? Did it really draw the audience in and take them for the journey, as opposed to just kind of throwing crazy shit up on the screen? I would say it's not as nuanced as that. It's not that good to say that on a written plot level, objectively, that this was a good film. And I think it suffered as a result of that. So while the plot suffered, the intent didn't, because it was a lot of fun and how campy it was. So I don't know, this is a weird one, because it kind of raises the question of, if the plot was better, if it was more cohesive, if it explained things better, if it had characters that had dynamic arcs to them and so on, would the intent have been higher or lower? I mean, if the camp factor had been removed because it was better polished, would it have been as enjoyable of a watch? Who knows? I think that honestly they probably could have pulled off a little bit of both. But regardless, I do say that this was a fun watch. It just wasn't a good movie, and I think that the scores kind of reflect that. This would have been absolutely a devastating low score if it hadn't been as campy and fun as it was. So ultimately what it comes down to is the question of, would I recommend this movie? Yeah. I think I would. Just in terms of being a cult classic, if you know what you're getting into when you click play, even if you've never seen the movie before, if generally you have an understanding of the ride that you're about to hop on, then I would say that you know what you're getting. This is pretty face value. If you've heard the summary, the synopsis of the plot, and this is a movie that you still decide you want to put into VCR and click play, then go for it, because it's going to be a wild ride, and it's going to be a fun one too. However, if you are fresh out of the gate, if you've never heard of this before, if this doesn't sound like your cup of tea, if you're not in the mood for a campy cult classic and you want a genuinely scary, thrilling possession kind of movie, then this is probably one to avoid. Back burner it, wait until you're in a little bit of a different mood, because I would say that I would recommend this movie for a person of the particular mindset and a particular mood. So take that for what you will. That's about as close to a recommendation as I could possibly give for this, but nevertheless, that is my review of 1983's Blood Beat. I really thank you for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe, and if you want to support me further, my Patreon and my merchandise storefront links are below. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.